What's up, boys? Today I thought I'd start the trade recap in a slightly different area. I'm making a morning coffee and I need to recap a trade because after my last video, I literally said, I'm not going to trade tonight, price action is going to suck. And then I saw an A+ setup with a good draw on liquidity, so I ended up taking a trade. Am I mad about it? No. I think overall, if I was to be mad about anything, it's being mad at the fact that I lost money because I took a trade. And that, if that doesn't sort of take away the fact that I shouldn't be angry, then I don't really know. If I want to be mad, I want to be mad because I've taken a bad setup, not because I'm mad that I've lost out on money. So that is where my psychology is at with this trade. I saw a good draw on liquidity. Peep the coffee, but let me put in 0.5. Yeah, I saw a good draw on liquidity. I had a valid setup, and so I took a trade. Check out the setup, boys. Got a little candle lit and everything. I'll chuck it onto my dash cam right now, and let's jump into the trade recap. Shut the door so that we can hear some better audio. But man, how I would love to come in here and be like, I took this trade last night. Sign up to my course and I'll show you how I found it. Some people actually do that, man. The space is disgusting. Like the amount of people. This is a setup with my strategy as well, but it's just later in the day. Obviously, I'm not staying on the charts after taking a loss, and after I saw sort of this price action, I was happy to get off the charts and play some Fortnite. But this is a setup SMT, and then we have like the SMT between NQ and ES, and then over on ES is the favored. Obviously draw on liquidity down here. I'd have a bearish profile because of this imbalance. TP1 would probably be here, TP2 would be this, and then I'd be targeting somewhere in this imbalance after seeing sort of retracement on the 3-minute time frame, and then a bang, which like inverse gap somewhere in here on like a 15-second. That's going to indicate the 3-minute change in the state. Yeah, so that's a trade there, but the one that I want to come talk to you about is this one here. So I took a trade last night with a bullish bias, and the reason for having a bullish bias, even though we had this sort of high time frame bearish SMT in place, is because I didn't expect it to hold. I'm looking at this, I don't really expect this bearish SMT to hold, especially if we can see some sort of continuation confluence on that 15-minute time frame. If I see a 15-minute confirmation confluence to the downside, 100% flip my bias from bullish to bearish. However, if I see us get a 15-minute retracement, if I see us see an A+ setup on a 3-minute time frame, that's indicating that 15-minute is going to continue bullish. Why would I not have that bullish bias in place with the idea that this is indications that the high time frame SMT is not going to be an SMT, and it's actually going to be the draw on liquidity for the lagging index? Jeez, man. Yeah, so that is why that's the basis behind why I took my trade yesterday. If we drop it down, I'll chuck on chart replay. Obviously, big NFP candle, so de-risking was definitely on the cards, and we also had Donald Trump. I only risked one contract on this trade, so I lost about $60, which is nothing. That's about a third of what I'd usually be risking on a trade like this. Not even a third, it's like a fifth of what I would be risking usually. But market opens, we see extensions up. That's our manipulation leg. We see extensions up coming into the macro, and macro opens here. So when we're sitting here, the only real options we have is to either short down with the idea of balancing out this data candle, or we look for continuation up to the draw on liquidity. I drew out this SMT as just understanding that we were sort of putting one in place. NQ, oh no, it is ES. ES has ripped, and we've taken out this draw on liquidity that the SMT is from, and then we've also taken out another significant high way over here. So that was just something that I was sort of looking at as kind of irrelevant. But from here, like I said, I was looking for some sort of retracement to indicate continuation on that 15-minute time frame over on ES. For me, that was just a 15-minute equilibrium retracement. And I saw a bottom tick here. I didn't really want to take any trades off of this because it's not an A+ setup. For me to have an A+ setup, I need to have either an SMT. I need to have an SMT within that 15-minute retracement, because then what it allows me to do is it allows me to know the bottom point of the retracement. This is something that I want to make a video on because it's something that I have found a lot. Say this is the 15-minute leg. We see this 15-minute retracement, and then we're trying to literally bottom tick the long. We might see a confirmation confluence here. Say we see like a change in the state of delivery somewhere in here. That's our entry. But the problem with this is we are trying to bottom tick this retracement, and that is, I've found it's just a lot harder to do than if we see something like this. Say we come up here, we generate some more liquidity, and then maybe we come down, do something like this, create an SMT at these lows, and then see a confirmation like that. This is one of my A+ models, because what we have in place here is we have this SMT, and then we also know that this is going to be the bottom of the leg up. So instead of taking a trade in here, where I know that this is a possibility because we are generating liquidity, with these ones, I'd like to place my stops a little bit further below, but often that gives us a bad risk to reward. Whereas over here, I can confidently place my stops underneath this manipulation leg, and a lot of the times you are going to get a much better risk to reward like this. So that is the model that I saw today. That's why I avoided this trade here, because I didn't want to try and bottom tick this when I know that we're overextended on the higher time frame. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's too risky. And also, when you see how this hourly candlestick closed, we closed so strong bullish. Now, do I just expect us to literally see a candlestick that goes from here to here? No, I usually don't. Usually you want to see some sort of bottom wick on it, followed by that bullish candle. And so that is what I was looking for today. Dropping down to the 5-minute time frame, waiting a little bit longer. I still had equilibrium marked out, and I had this low marked out. Dropped down to the 3-minute because it looks a lot cleaner. Cleaner, still looks like absolute doog. But anyways, this is my entry here. We see this SMT form. We are inside of equilibrium or we've already had our equilibrium taken on NQ. Over here on ES, we have this 15-minute bullish fair value gap. So when I see them both retrace into a 15-minute confluence, when I see us create that 3-minute SMT that I like to see, because then I know that we are in an area where I'm confident to place stops. We have this mini inverse fair value gap over here, and this is another reason that I could have entered this trade, is off the highest time frame inverse gap. However, I want to take the trade on NQ because it's the lagging index, so I waited for a 3-minute change in the state of delivery. We got this, and I took along with the idea that we were giving signs of a continuation up to that high, and I was looking for this SMT to be disrespected. And as seen, I just got stuck in chop. And am I mad about this? Like I said earlier in the video, kind of. I obviously said that I wasn't going to trade, and then I came in here, saw a trade, and I took a trade. But if I had seen this, like say I didn't trade last night, say I came back and was looking at it now, and I saw this trade and it had played out, then I would have been genuinely pissed because I wasn't in the charts willing to risk my money. And that's when it sort of comes down to either I'm mad that I lost money or I'm mad that I didn't make money. And so that is pretty much an indication to me that I need to cancel out the anger. There's nothing to be angry about because I came in, I took a valid setup. I'm really happy with that trade. And I know that that model in the long run would play out. Also, I de-risked heavily. So it's not like I got stung, but it's also not like, oh my goodness, terrible spelling. But it's not like I have anything to be mad about. If I'd lost a full amount, that would be something to be very pissed off about because I haven't taken into account that price action is bad. However, last night obviously took into account that price action was bad and heavily de-risked. If you come down here, I lost $63. So compared to my usual risk of sort of 200, 250, that is nothing. And look, man, we had a green week, even though this is the worst P&L ever. $100 on a 50K account is not ideal. However, like, price action was terrible. There realistically wasn't a lot to trade. And having a green week is an absolute blessing to the soul, man. I'm freaking stoked with it, even though it is just a small win. It's the little things, and that's, yeah, I mean, obviously not ideal to only have $100 profit on the week, but a green week is a green week, mate. So I'm not going to complain at all. Our stats aren't bad on this account so far. And if we can just keep taking trades like this, keeping it analytical like we are, these videos are actually helping me a lot, man, because it helps me to dive into my psychology. And a lot of the time, if you're just thinking about it in your own head, you don't really dive deep into it. However, when I'm here, like I can compare both options, and yeah, it actually helps me a lot. It's probably interesting for you guys to see it as well. But that is the trade that I took last night. Overall, really happy with it and nothing to complain about, bro. So thank you boys for tuning in. That is how I managed Friday night. The best option, man, was just not trading. I think if you could take anything away from this video, it is de-risk heavily when these days are like obviously lower probability. Yeah, de-risk heavily and just, I don't even know, man, stick to your strategy. I just realized that I messed up the ending of that video. But if you made it this far, boys, like and subscribe, join the Discord, follow my channels, and we'll be back next week with some more trade recaps. Hopefully we got another profitable week in the books. Love all you. Thank you boys for watching, and have a good weekend. Peace.